Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if anyone will even watch this because, Rose Cup is so last month, but I just wanted to put this up because I feel like I did pretty well. I really enjoyed the Rose Cup. So first up, I'm up against Fish on a Heater. Spoiler alert, he kicks my butt. But we were pretty much just chatting through like all of the battles, which was pretty funny. Well, we were chatting through the second two battles, so yeah. So we lead with Radon against his Probo Pass, which is a really good lead for me. And I don't tank that move, which is super effective being a steel type move. It does a huge chunk to my Radon. He switches out into his Steelix, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to switch as well, but I ended up just staying in, and I threw a Surf, and it goes through, which is really good. So we do lose our Radon there, and I bring out Haunter. I will need to use a shield on my Haunter, but I know that it's going to do a lot of damage um, before I need to. And I was hoping that I would be able to farm him down after he threw that move. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get there. So I used both my shields on my Haunter. We're waiting to see what he's going to bring in. So he brings back the Probo Pass, and I throw a Shadow Claw, I think, Shadow Punch. It almost KOs. It was so close. And unfortunately, we're not able to take out the Probo Pass. He throws a Rock Slide, which is going to KO. Haunter's just so squishy. We've got Wigglytuff in the back, and he brings out his Wigglytuff. I was just thinking, like, that's good. I've taken care of two Wigglytuff counters. This should be fine for me. But of course, he's got a shield, so he is going to win the mirror match here. Almost took each other down with just charms, though. That was funny. So second match, we these are the ones we were just chatting through. So not a good lead for me. I've got my Charizard against his Probo Pass, and we go into Medicham, which isn't great because now I've switch locked myself into Wigglytuff. I was gonna call it Wiggly Charm. So I go for a bit of a I don't know, maybe trying to bait a shield here, and then I was probably trying to I'm not sure what I was doing. Anyway, switched into Wigglytuff, and we've got the mirror match here. I'm going to try to just take it out with charms. We were able to do it, but we don't have a lot of health left, which isn't great. And then he brings out his Steelix. I'm still not sure what was the better thing to throw because both are resisted. Oh, actually, Ice Beam isn't. So apparently, I know what I'm talking about sometimes. I'm already trying to think about toxic at this point. But anyway, we let our Wigglytuff go down there and we bring in Charizard. So it's just going to melt away the steel typing. We've got a Blast Burn ready to go and it goes through. He's still got both of his shields though. So he brings back in the Probo Pass, which isn't ideal for me. I go for another Blast Burn. Even if it doesn't, it's not very effective. It still does a decent amount of damage. He does shield that one though, so that was just a glitch where it doesn't show the shield sometimes. So he ends up throwing a rock slide, and I used my last shield, and um, obviously he's going to be able to take us out with another rock slide there. So he leads with his Probo Pass again, and I lead with my Medicham, so that was positive for us. He switches into his Steelix, and I switch into my Rhydon. As you can see, the Mud Slaps are doing just crazy damage. And I let the Heavy Slam go through again. We do get to the Surf and throw that one. He shields that this time, and I'm not able to get to another charged move. So I've got Charizard and Medicham in the back. I'm hoping I can just bring in Medicham and farm up a bit of energy on the rest of this Steelix. He throws a Crunch. Neither of the charge. Oh, sorry. Earthquake would hurt a lot, but yeah, Crunch is. It doesn't do very much because the fighting type resists it. So then he brings in his Wigglytuff, and um, obviously that's bad for me. So I switch into my Charizard, and he's got Probo Pass in the back. So there's not really a lot I can do. I try to throw a Dragon Claw. I'm really trying to get his last shield, but he's holding on to it. So he's not letting that shield go. I decide to try to keep my Charizard. I think I should have just let it go down. I've got Medicham in the back, and then there's a Wigglytuff in the back on his side. And there is a battle later on where I actually win against a Wigglytuff using my Medicham. So, makes me wonder. I wonder if it would have gone any differently. So we throw the power up punch here. I'm pretty sure he's still got his shield. No, he doesn't. So he has used it. I try to go for a psychic, but the charms are just too much. We just couldn't get there. So next up, I'm up against CBF 13, and he's a really good battler. Waiting for it to start. So we've got Rhydon up against Wigglytuff, which isn't too bad of a matchup for me. It's not ideal, but it can go either way depending on what moves each other have and who shields what. So I do go for a surf and it gets shielded there, and they're able to just charm us down. So I bring in my Charizard. I caught a lot of people off guard. I feel like, I'm not sure, I don't know, but people don't expect the Fire Blast to actually almost KO their Wigglytuffs. So I got a lot of people like that, but he decides to switch into his Alolan Marowak, and we threw a Blast Burn and he used his last shield, so we're able to get to another Blast Burn. We shielded his move expecting a Shadow Ball, and you can see, even though it's not very effective, just how much damage it actually does. So did we switch them? I'm not sure what happened, but we brought out our Wigglytuff just to get a little bit of energy, and he comes back in with his own Wigglytuff. I'm going to shield this because I know I'll be able to win the mirror match if I do, because if it was a play rough it would have KO'd, and he has Steelix in the back. So I go for the Ice Beam. It takes a little chunk off, and it's not a great matchup for Wigglytuff, so I'm just going to let it do what it can, and then bring in Charizard. Oh, yep, so I put Charizard away for later. So we're going to be able to get to a Blast Burn, hopefully. No, maybe. So close. Weren't able to get there. If we were, we would have been able to win that one. So going into the second battle here, pumped up from that crazy finish on the last one, we lead with both of our fire types, and I go up to the Blast Burn, and if he doesn't shield it, this will do a lot of damage. So as you can see there, and I'm not sure if that was a glitch with the switch tray or if I was considering switching or not, but I decided to stay in, and I'm just going to try to just build up a bit more energy. I did already use a shield, so either I don't shield and risk losing all that energy, or I shield and go shieldless for the rest of the battle. So I took a risk, and it turned out to be a flame wheel. I've never seen that before. I had no idea how much it was going to do. We're able to get to 2 Dragon Claws, so we're able to take his last shield there, and just hanging on by a thread with our Charizard just to keep that switch advantage. So his Wigglytuff does come in, and I'm thinking about it. I go into my Rhydon. So because he's got no shields, the rock type move will do a big chunk of damage. But am I even going to be able to get there? Because look at what the charms are doing to me. Like, well, a bit risky, but it does pay off. So we're able to take out the Wigglytuff there. And I think we had Medicham in the back, which is just perfect. Oh, no. Wigglytuff in the back, sorry. What am I thinking, Medicham? Anyway, so we do have a shield, which is good, and Steelix is obviously resisting all of our charms. So we shield the Crunch, which wasn't great because an Earthquake would do a lot of damage to us, and we're able to get to the Ice Beam and take the win. So awesome. Now we're doing the tiebreaker. I go in with Wigglytuff, Steelix, and Medicham. Look, I actually checked this time. And we've got the mirror match here. So just gonna charm each other down. I'm trying to go for one of my charge moves, but honestly I should have just tried to keep it, and we end up throwing this play rough at the Steelix. It doesn't do very much, and he doesn't shield, of course. So now we're able to go into our Medicham and just really do a lot of damage before he switches. I was expecting the switch and I was still so slow on it, but this still isn't an ideal matchup for us. Of course, he doesn't have Bone Club, but he's got Flame Wheel and Shadow Ball, and I let the Shadow Ball go through. We're going to throw a Crunch. It's probably going to get shielded. Yes, it does. And obviously his Fire Spins are just melting away my Steelix. So it's all up to Medicham. 2 shields. Can we do it? We shield this Flame Wheel, and I overcharge up to a Psychic and then throw a Power Up Punch. It does get the last shield, which is awesome. Now I need to hit this Psychic. It needs to land, and I need to get an Excellent on it. So we are able to take out the Marowak, and then we've got the Steelix in the back. We've still got a shield here. I do decide to shield because I had no idea how much energy he had left. I'm going desperately for the power-up punch. We do get there, and we're able to win. Yes, all of those battles were so intense though. Like, oh, they were awesome. So next up, we're up against Freeman. He has always beaten me every single tournament that we get matched up against. So I was a bit nervous here, and yeah, we both switched out of our lead now. So he's got his Wigglytuff against my Blast Burn. Remember what I was against? Why do I always call Pokemon their move names? I don't know. Like I said, the Charizard Blast Burn, the surprise. Remember when I was talking about that earlier? Yeah, there you go. There's an example. And I just feel like it just caught people off guard. I'm not sure why, because yeah, I know to shield a Blast Burn on my Wigglytuff. So unless they didn't think I got there in time, but it happens so much in practice. And like I did 5 tournaments, I think. So there's a few that I'm not going to put on my channel. But yeah, it's just that Blast Burn on Wigglytuff, crazy. So we've ended up here with my Haunter up against his Alolan Marowak. And of course, I'm using my shield. Gonna get to the Shadow Punch here. And it does take out the Marowak. So he's got his Medicham in the back. And we're able to do quite a good chunk with how little health my Haunter had left. So my Medicham's my best buddy, and she's, you know, every time I see her, she always has a gift for me, but she's pretty awesome. And I'm trying so hard to get to the Psychic. Pretty sure he had Ice Punch, yes, on his Medicham. So the Psychic will be able to take him out. And that's just the moveset that I prefer on my Medicham, especially in Rose. It just took people by surprise. Like, Psychic can hit really heavy neutral damage, especially if you do a power-up punch first. So I actually got the win. Oh my gosh. We go into Rhydon versus his Alolan Marowak to start with here. And I throw a Surf. Of course, it gets shielded. The Mud Slaps are just melting away the Marowak. I love that about Rhydon, but it feels so slow throwing them. So we end up using a shield, and then I decide not to shield the second move. Bone Club does a lot of damage, and for how quickly Marowak can get to them, you know, I had to shield at least one or let my Rhydon completely go down. So we do take out the Marowak, and I am maintaining switch advantage here. Probopass just gets melted away by the Mud Slap. Rock and Steel are both weak to ground. That's why I really loved running Rhydon. Like, I never expected to enjoy using Rhydon in PvP. Like, it's one of those Pokemon that's been around since the beginning of the game, and it's like, it's not useful for anything anymore. It used to always be in gyms and stuff, and I never thought I would be using Rhydon, but I really enjoyed it last month. So we end up in a shiny Charizard mirror match, and he throws a Blast Burn. I decided to shield, which was a good call. The Blast Burn, I think that would have KO'd me. So he brings in his Probopass at the end here, and he throws a Rock Slide. Could have easily been a Magnet Bomb, which would have, I think that would have KO'd. So we're able to take the win. So I just got the best 2 out of 3. So at this point, I was already just freaking out. So we go into the third battle, and I've got Wigglytuff against Alolan Marowak, and just going to stick in with this one and do as much damage as we can. So he throws a Bone Club. I don't shield that one. I don't intend on shielding anything. I throw a Play Rough. I didn't really know that it was going to be resisted, but we ended up getting the shield anyway, which was really good. and he throws another bone club. We're getting dangerously low now, so he is going to take the lead matchup. So he now has switch advantage. We get a little bit of lag here, so I sort of stopped for a minute and we sort of, talked about it, and we were like, oh, it's okay, we can keep going now. So he ends up throwing a couple of charge moves at my Charizard. I shielded the first one, and then he throws a bone club. Sorry, I wasn't even looking at what the move was, but we decided to just farm down the rest of the Marowak. He's got one shield left, so I've got to sort of play my cards right here. We go for the Dragon Claw, and we get the shield, so we'll be able to get to a Blast Burn, and this is why Community Day moves matter. Boom. Oh my gosh. And then we've got Charizard in the back, Wigglytuff in the back. I decided to try to switch out of my Charizard and preserve the energy that I had, because I knew I had Medicham in the back, and I thought there's no way that I'm going to be able to win this now if my Charizard goes down. But because we saved a shield, we're able to get to a Psychic, which is going to be able to KO. And oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. Like, he was probably having an off day and I just got lucky, but I'm going to take the win. And in the final battle, you've seen him before on my channel, we're up against Final Flash. So we get a good lead here, and sorry about about the notifications. He ends up switching into his Probo Pass, so I switched to try to maintain the matchup with Radon against his Golbat, because even though it's good against his Probo Pass, obviously I've got Medicham in the back to deal with it. So we get the Probo Pass all the way down, and he's able to get to another charge move before before the Probo Pass goes down. So he brings back his Medicham, his Golbat, and I go for a power up punch, and we get the shield bait there. So that was really good. I do decide to use a shield here, and it turns out to be a Poison Fang, and I'm trying to get to the Psychic because that will do super effective damage against the poison typing. I believe, oh, he lets that go through, crazy. So then he's got his Scrappy, I can't remember, Scrafty in the back, it's written right there, Jade. Yeah, so I've got my Wigglytuff, and we're able to just melt away the Scrafty. As you can see, it's, I think, 3.25 charms. So we get the lead again here. So we've got Haunter against Wigglytuff. Well, I thought it would be a good lead, but I don't have any poison type moves, so it doesn't actually turn out to be that great for me. So I do switch into my Radon, and he throws a Play Rough. Whoa, I didn't expect that to hurt so much. So, oh my gosh, 2 mistakes straight away. Not going great for us. I bring back in my Haunter, throw a charge move. It's probably going to get shielded. And so now we've only got our Medicham left, which isn't great. I'm trying to get to the Psychic, and it's just melting away with the charms. We do get to the Psychic. He's still got a shield, though. No, he doesn't. He does, but he doesn't use it because he really doesn't need to. So I'm just going to go down with 2 shields. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, well. So now we've got Tiebreaker, and we've got Charizard against Wigglytuff. So we're going to go out to a Blast Burn and try to throw it. Hopefully he doesn't shield it, but this is Final Flash. Oh my goodness, he didn't shield it. That's so crazy. How? So then he brings in the Drift Blim, and we try to go for a Dragon Claw. It's taken forever to go off for some reason, and just keeps throwing fast moves instead. So he does shield that one. We're able to get to another Dragon Claw, and he uses both shields on his Drift Blim, and I'm going to let my Charizard go down here. So he throws an Ominous Wind and doesn't get the boost. So I go into my Rhydon, and still got 2 shields. So I decide to use one because I felt like a Shadow Ball would do a lot of damage. Probably, being a bit more careful since I didn't use any shields last battle. We go for the Rock Slide here, and, Stone Edge. It goes through, takes out the Golbat. So he's only got his Drift Blim left, and I've still got 2 Pokemon. How How do I lose this? Oh my goodness. This is crazy. So he gets to a shadow ball. It does KO my Rhydon. I've got no shields. That's how he wins. Oh my goodness. I was trying so hard. I was going to see if I could get to a psychic, but I was counting the moves and I knew that he was going to be able to throw a shadow ball at any moment. So it was really funny actually. I just threw the power up punch and he was like, "You have me so scared." Like it was just a bluff. I don't know. I had to try to do something. So there you go. There's the final standings. Congratulations to Wilbert for taking the win, and thank you to everybody who I battled. It was a really fun day, and yeah, just thanks to everybody who comes out and um, gets involved in the tournaments. Also, Fish on a Heater has a really excellent YouTube channel where he does a series called Tournament Takeaway, and he basically goes in and breaks down matches that he's had and gives a lot of good tips. Like I've been learning a lot from it, so I'll pop a link for that in the description below. And as per usual, I'll have all links for PvP Discords in the description. If you got this far, thank you for watching, and I'll have a toxic video up very soon. Thanks, bye!